this is the old walkway. Walkway used to come up and around the corner and down to the back of the house. And that there was a veranda, and that's all grown up with trees. There was a nice veranda along there with windows all the way across in between.
Oh, so it was roofed,
was
and it had window sides to it, yeah. Or screens?
No,
windows, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mrs. Rowe used to keep her geraniums and her plants in there, and yeah.
Ah, okay.
And then she could look out across at the barn here to see what us fellas were doing. And yeah, that there was just a small tree when I was here. It's growing up pretty good. So. This is the old office.
Ah.
And that's got a lot of history because Mr. Rowe's nephew bought the general store in 1967.
What was his name?
Earl Lennox.
Earl Lennox bought the store in 67.
About there.
Okay.
And he moved this, they called it the doghouse. Mrs. Rowe called it the doghouse. Because he moved it from somewhere, I don't know if it was around Thornhill or someplace, and he put it on the store property up there.
Huh.
And they raised dogs. And when the store was sold, Mr. Rowe bought it, moved it down here, and made an office out of it.
Oh, okay. Any idea what year that was?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Have to be around, I would say, maybe 61 or 62, somewhere in that area.
By the time you started working here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was interesting. Stanley Colton, he had the garage down the hill there. He had a big army tow truck, and we put it on skids at the store, and he pulled it down and winched it up the lane and put it here with the tow truck.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And yeah, this year was all cut, nice garage. Things used to be painted up pretty well.
Yeah. So the 3-car garage?
3-car garage, yeah. And Stanley Ross, he used to live up in the top there.
Who is this?
A fellow that worked for Mr. Rowe for all his life.
And what was his name?
Stanley Ross.
Stanley Ross, and he lived upstairs.
He lived there, and then there was a log house down on the other place. He moved down there and looked at, after we got the stalls in down at the other farm.
Yeah.
Then he moved down there to the log house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
do you know where Stanley Ross is buried? Any idea? Not in Newton Robinson?
I don't know where Stanley's buried.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, just curious.
He had a brother, Marcus, down on the other corner of the 8th line and the 5 side road. He had a brother lived there. But he's never married. He never had any kids of his own.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, right, watch that warm now.
It is. So when do you think these barns were built? In the 20s?
1929.
1929.
Yeah.
And were they all built at the same time?
All built the same time.
Okay.
All except this one.
This one
This
sticking
one
in here.
here was built in, I think, 1957.
Okay.
A lot of things happened in 57, 58.
Okay.
And yeah, this year we called it the Colt barn.
The Colt barn.
This is where we put the yearlings.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's actually what it was intended to do. It ended up being a training barn for a while because we got so many horses.
Okay. But it's all made of cinder block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here used to be a fuel tank where we filled the tractors up with fuel.
Yeah.
Along the side of the ridge. And yeah, just makes me sick to see this place not being taken care of, you know.
Yeah.
It's just sad. All the stories, all the places around here, all the farm, everybody has a story. But this here one here has a little special story because of Mr. Rowe's long time in Parliament. And
Right. Yeah. Being the Governor General or Lieutenant Governor.
Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
And that driving shed, it was built in 29.
Built this year. And what would you call it?
The driving shed.
And what's the driving shed?
That's where you kept your implements and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And this used to be all rolled down with the tractors and stuff. This never got grown up at all. And right here, now we're coming up to where the end of the racetrack started. Yeah. right. My trailer, I lived in a trailer when I came back in '74, and it sat there. That's all gone now.
Yeah.
And I lived in there. And then there was another one. In '76, it burnt down at the north side of the shed.
Oh, there was a trailer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where the racetrack came around here, you see. You can almost see they just plowed around. Yeah. This would have been about the edge of the track. And see that tree that's sticking out down here?
Okay, yeah.
The fence went straight up to the highway.
Yeah.
Right straight up there, and then the racetrack came right around here.
And inside to the left of that
Yeah,
trees out there.
left of them trees, yeah.
Yeah, that island of
And
trees.
yeah, and there was a nice white fence come down each side here. And then the infield fence was all white right around, with the real fence down the other side with pasture on the other side of it.
Okay. And the track went pretty much down to Highway 27, right?
Right to 27.
Yeah.
It was a little bit short of, but I think Mr. Rowe says 50 feet short of a half mile.
Okay.
So when we worked horses, we'd have to go around twice and then add 50 feet on to make it the half mile.
Okay.
Yeah. And boy, everything's growing up so much you can hardly pick the places out now.
Yeah. So how far over did the Rowe property go? Did it go right to,
Right to
the 10th?
11th line.
Oh, so right to the 11th.
Yeah, Mr. Rowe bought the Leeson farm there. See where the barn is?
Yeah, that barn. That was the Leeson farm.
The Leeson farm. And
Huh?
he bought it about 1956, I think.
Okay.
And
And he used those barns?
Oh yeah, they sat in the ground when he bought them, and then they jacked them up and put the wall underneath them and
Okay.
put 17 box stalls in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was, I think, 6 off to the side and a little L there.
Okay.
I think there was 6 or 8 stalls down the side there. Yeah.
Huh.
And yeah, he owned this right straight through, and then back to where them trees are, that's the corner, and then Bill owned the farm next to it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what did Bill do with his farm?
They farmed it. He had a lot of cattle.
Okay, he had cattle
He had cattle
and cash crop, or just cattle?
Sheep.
Sheep. Okay,
he
cattle
had
and
a lot.
sheep. Okay.
Had a lot of sheep, and then over the years, Gary Fraser worked for him
Oh.
for a number of years,
Okay.
and then they went to cash crop and grew enough feed for the horses and stuff like that. And the rest of it was cash crop.
Okay.
They pretty-
So he was growing or feed for his brother's horses,
Yeah, for his dad's horses.
or his dad's horses. Oh, dad's horses. Okay.
And then the rest of it, well, he cash cropped it. And, yeah.
Okay.
He had the 2 farms, that one and the one across the road. Yes, when Mr. Rowe's dad came back from Iowa, he bought, by what I understand, he bought where Jim McDonald lives. He bought that and raised his family there. And then he bought the place where Bill Rowe was next to this place. And then his dad bought the home place here. And as the time went on, Russell Rowe got the house up there where they came back from Iowa from.
Right. So how many siblings did Honorable Earl Rowe have?
3.
3. So he had
Yeah.
2 brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 3. 2 brothers and a sister. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
then Watson got that farm.
right.
Earl got this farm.
Yeah.
And Russell got the house over there where Jim McDonald lived on the corner of the old hotel.
Right. Okay.
That's by what I was made to understand anyway.
Gotcha.
And
And then Honorable Earl Rowe had how many children?
he had 3.
Yeah.
Bill, Lennox, and Jean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bill ended up taking over Watson's farm.
Yeah. And Jean, she became a member of Parliament. She lived down Prescott Way.
Yep.
And then Lennox, he lived over on the 11th line.
Gotcha. Okay.
I take a look, it's a damn shame the way everything is just gone around here. It's just disgusting. They knocked the back out of the driving shed. You have a few minutes if I take a look here?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Just keep talking.
Yeah.
What you remember.
What did they do here? They put chicken wire up. They must have had something in the shed. Isn't that a joke? Well. What else they didn't want anybody to get at the garbage. Wow. Ah, isn't this something? Look at the garbage in here.
Yeah.
Isn't that disgusting? Just absolutely disgusting. There's no need for this. Wow. I wish the community could somehow or other get together and we could clean it up and make some, at least look at it anyway. There's an old seed box off an old seed drill from about 1925 hanging on the wall.
Hanging on the wall, that's what that is, eh?
It was there when I came here. It's never moved since, in 1961. And we built, Mr. Rowe built a blacksmith shop in there.
In here, okay, yeah.
That's a blacksmith shop where used to bring the horses up and
Like in this building here, the
yeah,
driving?
right there.
Okay.
See that wall? I don't know if we can get the door open.
Oh, okay.
See in or not. I want to take a look at the old barn here for a minute.
Okay, so anyway, you're talking about, so behind that sliding door over here,
Yeah.
that would have been the
That
blacksmith
was
shop.
blacksmith shop.
Oh, okay.
We'll just see if we slide it open and get a picture or not. I don't know if we can or not.
I wonder if it even moves. Yeah.
After they got hidden cameras, I'll just tell them who I am.
Yeah. No, it doesn't move.
Nope, they've nailed her shut.
There you go.
It used to be a chicken coop. Mr. Rowe had a chicken coop here, and a few brooder houses for baby chicks along here.
How many chickens would she have usually?
She kept, I'm guessing about 100 hens.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Did they sell eggs to people or?
no, just give them away.
Okay.
Give them to the family and friends, I think. And this shed, we built it 1964. This used to be the barnyard out here. And the big gate there coming up out of the barnyard. And then the chicken coop here. And I'm going to take a walk up and stick my head in the door up there because I'm curious. I'm not going to walk in though. Because look at the roof. It's pretty bad shape.
So this used to be one of the ramps into the barn, right?
Yep. We used to draw hay and straw and grain up these ramps in the winter time or summertime. Oh yeah, look at here, it's all gone away. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. Oh, such a shame. Wow. Won't be long until she'll be all falling down in the stable.
So can you describe what the different structures were? Like what was this over here?
What did it hold?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That was the granary.
That's greenery. Okay.
Granary kept grain in there.
Okay. And what kind of grain would be in there? Would it be a blend or
No, mostly oats.
oats? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same, there's another one there, see?
Right.
And yeah, look at over here. That floor is completely gone.
Yeah.
And there's the other granary there. And this here hay chute used to set there.
That's the hay chute?
You put the bales in it to go down into the stable. There's one over here. One there by the granary.
Okay. So the hay, you put the
Hay and straw went down there.
in there, the hay chute. Okay, yeah.
And I've seen this barn right from that wall, right to the side of the oat roller here, right full to the roof.
With bales of hay?
Hay and straw.
Hay and straw.
And that mile there was completely full right to the roof. The barn out there was completely full. The 10 stalls back through that granary. I don't want to walk there in case you go through the floor.
Yeah.
10 stalls back there. It was completely full of hay.
Ah.
And by spring it would be all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, were they round baling or square baling?
All square.
Or square bale?
Yeah.
So did you get involved in manhandling the?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did a lot of that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Day after day after day. Yeah.
Now, did he grow all his own hay and straw?
Pretty well.
Pretty
Yeah.
well? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Between him and the boys, they
Yeah.
kind of worked back and forth.
Did you drive any tractor?
Oh yeah.
You drove a tractor?
I plowed and I guess you could say that after Stanley Ross, I sort of managed the farm here,
Okay.
the farming end of it a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and put a lot of wheat in, build a lot of hay, and I was cut a lot of hay, build a lot of hay, and didn't grow any corn after the cattle. We used to grow 4 acres of corn out here behind the shed, but
Was that out here behind? Yeah.
Yeah.
4 acres of corn. What was that for?
It went into the silo here for the cattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And after the cattle went, we grew no more corn, other than Bill did for cash crop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and you know, Mark, look at the lumber in this barn.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If somebody took that apart, look at that. You know, there's $100,000 worth of lumber in these barns.
So can you tell me? Have you climbed those ladders when you're?
Oh yeah, climb the ladders. That one there used to come off. Hay would be up there. You have to climb up the bales to get to the top when you'd start to open the mow up.
Open
Open it up to drop the hay down for the
okay.
in the fall. Right to the roof.
Right to the roof.
Yeah.
So you spend time up those ladders, eh? Yeah.
Days like this, it was hot up there next to that steel roof.
Oh, it would have been, yeah.
There wasn't too much air. And these here 2 boxes at each end here, that was the ventilators for the cow stable at that time.
Oh, okay. Ventilators.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a rope down inside and you could open a ventilator, let the outside air in or shut it off or whatever you wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And didn't need it for the horses. There wasn't enough eating horses to keep it warm.
Oh, okay.
And in them days we had no water bowls. I used to carry, I carried water here, water all these horses.
From where did you get the water?
Out of the water taps.
Oh.
And you'd have to carry it to each individual stall.
Right.
I think I spent a lifetime carrying water. You know, bucket after bucket. 10 o'clock at night I'd be out here carrying water in the hot weather before we let the brood mares out.
Okay.
And you'd be here till 10 o'clock at night, and if you weren't, you'd be here all morning carrying water.
Now, is this when you were the teenager or later?
Yeah, when I was a teenager.
And you were living down in Newton Robinson?
Well, I lived at the corner of the 11th line. I lived at Mrs. Rowe's, the Lennox house. I lived there with my aunt for a while.
Yeah.
I lived with Sam Reed in Newtown.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
when you say in Newtown, what's Newtown? Where Newtown Motors is?
No.
Oh.
You know where your place is there, the Cornwall place?
Yeah.
That little house right next to you?
Yeah.
That was Sam Reed's house. He was an Irish fella.
Oh, wait a minute. Sam Reed, okay, when you say the little house on the same property as Vern's house? Where his mum used to live?
No.
No, oh.
Just
Just south of him,
yeah,
on 27.
They're renovating it or doing
That's
something with
right.
it there
Yeah,
now.
okay, I know what house you're talking about.
And that was just a little house they've added onto it.
Yeah.
That piece on the back, that was the old woodshed when we was there.
Oh, it's a woodshed. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
And then my grandfather bought the house where Garry is. There's a house next, and then he bought the one next to that, the stucco house right at the bottom of the hill.
okay.
Yeah, there was 1 acre property in there.
And your grandfather bought that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So who owned that house? You said that you lived in with for a while there, right beside Vern Connell's house.
Sam Reed.
Sam Reed.
He was from Ireland. He came I think he came to Canada about maybe 1920s or something, and then he went to Manitoba, and then he left there and he came down to this area.
Okay.
Yeah. And he sold his little house in 1969 to Stanley Ross that lived over the garage. And he went back. He had a sister in Napinka, Manitoba. And he went out to spend his time with her.
Okay.
And lots of good old memories.
Yeah.
Now, as I see them, they're not so good anymore.
That's right.
But they called, I guess.
So what would this be? Is that actually?
That's another hay chute.
So that would open up?
That would open up, and you dump the hay down there.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It used to be a bunch of cattle right along here underneath, and that would go down right pretty close to the silo there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would they keep in the silo? Would that be oats?
Corn.
Corn. Oh, that was the corn. Oh, okay. So the silo was only used when the cattle were here.
Yeah, that's all that was used.
And then when the cattle were gone, they didn't use the
was the end
silo
of it.
anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
That was the end of it. Yeah, the chute of the silo. I put that cover on when I was here in 1976, 77. Used to be a chute go right to the top.
Ah.
You go up there every day and throw enough corn out to do the cattle for next feed. Yeah.
So you would get inside the
Yeah. Have to get inside.
and stand on top of the corn
Oh yeah. And dig it out.
and dig it out and throw it into the chute.
And you had to be careful. You had to have a pick in there because you had to keep the outside coming down. If you didn't, it would freeze in.
Yeah, and you'd get sucked in, right?
Well, you get in there. So many guys died because they didn't keep the outside dug down.
Right.
And when the weather got warm, it would cave in.
Yeah.
And they'd be buried alive in the silo.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you knew better.
Well,
Okay.
you know, at that time, the people was getting a little more. They keep the outside knocked down. We used to keep it knocked down about a foot
Below the center.
below the center.
Okay.
And then that way there was no buildup on the side.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they would freeze. You see, there's heat in the bottom, but the heat would go up, and then once it get up there, it would freeze in from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot of hard work. Yeah, there used to be a board fence right up along here.
Oh yeah.
Nice white board fence. Yeah. Somebody shoved their way in there by the looks of it.
Yeah.
We can look at that from the other end.
Okay.
Yeah, this here had nice shrubs up around the barn here. This was all lawn.
Looks like lots of wild rhubarb here. Or rhubarb. Was there?
That's burdocks.
Oh, it's burdocks. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
You know the big fellas that stick to you in the fall?
Oh, that's them.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. All right.
Yeah. I see they have a piece of wire around there. They must have had chickens or something in there.
Yeah.
Boy, look at that for a mess, eh?
Yeah.
The wind is out. Yeah. Such a shame. We'll take a look in here for a minute. Hope I'm not taking too much of your time.
Not at all. This is very interesting.
There, you see, that's the last of the old white fences
Oh.
around.
So that's the old white fence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And before that, there was a trailer where them trees are right there next to the driveway.
Yeah.
The trailer I lived in up there, it used to sit there.
Okay.
And then Mr. Rowe bought a trailer from one of the hired men, and it sat here for about 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, they put the fence up and put the gate on. Used it for an exercise yard.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the well used to set that building over the hill. Don't know if you can see it from here or not. That
Oh,
used-
there is a building down here I have
Yeah,
seen from the road. Yeah.
That's the pump house.
That was a pump house.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can get a view of that from the road, I think. Yeah. Okay. So let's.
And that hydrometer hasn't changed in the past 70 years.
So here's the.
And this here was an old well
Ah.
right here.
The old well.
And I put that slab on there about 1964. There's an old slab of cement I found someplace. I just set it over top. It's all broke down now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You can still smell the horses in here.
Can you hear them still too?
Oh, they told we had a little, somebody had built over the years a little harness spot there, and I see they tore it all out.
Yeah.
And this is where we used to have a workbench there, and done a bit of shoeing here, and odds and ends, and then clean the horses here on the floor, and to get them all done up after working for the day.
Okay.
And
So now, was this where the best horses were kept in these stalls?
in the old days, yeah.
The best ones, like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this was all the training stock, and then there used to be 3 stalls at the back before they took the cow barn out.
Okay, yeah.
And that was all the training stock. And the brood mares was between Bill's place, and there's a barn at the other side over there.
That was where the brood
10
mare.
stalls over there.
Okay. But they're not as nice as these stalls, right?
No, these are oak stalls. Them stalls are all gone now.
Oh, there
Rowe
you go.
took them out when he had that straw log thing.
Okay.
Yeah, he took them all out. And this was the tack room here.
Okay.
And yeah, this was the tack room and the wash bathroom there. I used to shower in there and shave.
Well, this was a shower here, maybe? No.
No,
The shower.
that's the old feed chute.
Oh.
That's
there-
the old feed chute, and you blocked it off.
Oh, yeah. There's the shower stall. There was the shower stall and the toilet. Yeah.
I think it should. What's the color? Still pink?
No, it's blue.
Oh, it's all blue now.
Oh, really?
Oh, they took the, used to be a hot water tank there, it's all gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this used to be a feed chute?
Yeah, hay chute.
Oh, hay chute. Oh, so
It
from the
come down
top.
from upstairs, but they blocked it off and made a, whatever, a closet or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Used to put hay down here for this end of the barn. There was one down the other end for the other end of the barn. And, yeah. Boy, oh boy. But these stalls, you know, all oak stalls.
All okay.
All oak.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Such a shame. Such a shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when the place is let go, you know.
Yeah.
It just falls apart. But then, we look at the other farms around. Every farm around here, everybody that worked here had a story. They loved their work, and now it's all gone.
Yeah.
Nobody works like they used to. So automated nowadays.
So do you remember any horses in particular?
You mean the names?
Names or
Oh, yeah.
personalities, the ones you dealt
yeah,
with? Or
Van Riddle was the old stud we had. He bred a lot of mares. And Serious Council full of Van, they still hold, well, they don't do it now, still hold the world record for a team race on the old Thorncliffe Raceway.
Huh.
1953, I think it was. Yeah. Oh yeah, and we had Flemington, Duke Demon, Riddle Todd. There's a lot of them. Spring Caper.
Yeah.
Ella Riddle.
so you were involved with brushing them after the work?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So is there any stories of when brushing them, personalities?
No. Some of them, you know, they're kind of cute. You take a wheelbarrow to the corner of the stall, you put them on a tie, and then they just take their foot and set in the wheelbarrow just to tease you.
Yeah.
You lift it out, and you get another fork full of manure, and they put the foot back in. There's little stuff like that, you know. Animals are smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah, very smart. And then we had a horse named Lee Who, and he was in this stall. And he was a bit of a well, they said he was a bad actor. Nobody could handle him. Every time they went into the stall, they had a whip with them. So I used to come down here on my lunchtime, stand there and talk to him, and I got that I could open the door and pet him. We went to Vernon Downs in 1961, and they gave me Lee Who to look after. I could take that horse and take him anywhere, do anything with him.
Yeah.
And they told me.
Okay. And you were 16 years old or so? Yeah. Okay.
And they told me never to go near him without a whip. Well, as soon as I'd walk up there with a whip, he would just about get on his knees and go to the corner because they beat him so bad.
Mm.
That was before Mr. Rowe bought him. And I threw the whip down, and I used to stand there at the door and pet him. I got that I could open the door, and then he'd start following me around the stall. And so they maybe they get to me figuring that, well, if he kills him, it's not too important. This was the other hay chute here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look up here. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. This here was built for the colt barn in 1957, but they've taken all the stalls out, and some of the fronts are still there. Yeah.
So the colts were in here. Okay.
Yeah. Quite a spot. Yeah. I'm taking too much of your time.
Not at all. And now in here this is where the broodmare? No, broodmares were on the, not
Well,
in
this
here.
here, yeah, this ended up being broodmares, but this here was the old cow stable.
Oh, well, the old,
Floor. Look at this.
yeah, that's right, yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But this here was the old cow stable here.
And he had about 60 head of cattle?
We had about, yeah, I'd say about 50, 60 head.
Okay, yeah. And it wasn't dairy, it was beef,
No,
right?
beef,
Beef,
yeah.
yeah.
Shorthorns.
Shorthorn, okay.
Yeah, and then there was 3 stalls over in the back wall there,
Yeah.
box stalls for horses. And then there was a feed room down here, walk behind the cows there, and another feed room down there. And then there was stalls across the back. Now let's go into the old silo.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah, this year.
So when you came back here with your son 5 years ago or so, did you go through the barns?
We just came back to take a look around.
So you walk right through the barns like this?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
okay. So this is where the brood mares were.
This is broodmares, yeah.
Yeah,
And Van Middle, the old stud, he stood in the corner stall down there.
Okay. So how many stalls were in here at one point?
10 stalls.
10 stalls in here at one point. And you said they were removed because
Young Earl started a straw log business,
right.
and he took them all out,
Okay.
and that's what happened. This shed here, he cemented the floor, and he put a couple of compartments in.
Oh, so what was back here?
Right?
What was in here before?
Well, this here was built for an exercise shed
Ah.
for the colts and the broodmares and stuff.
Now this space right here or the next one?
No, the whole thing. It's all one shed.
Oh, this wall was put in after.
Yeah.
That wall was
But Young Earl, you see, he put the ceiling in. It was just open concept. Young Earl put this in, and he put this wall in.
Oh, and it used to be a sand floor then, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, it used to be sand, and then we put the straw, even manure out here for the horses to exercise in.
Oh, okay.
And then if you open that door, there was a little bit of a exercise yard out there too.
Right, right.
And yeah, we did this in 1964. This was built.
This was built in 64, okay. Did you ever ride any of the horses?
No,
No, okay.
no, I never drove any.
Or drove. Yeah, they were they were driven. They weren't they didn't ride them, right?
Yeah, they weren't thoroughbreds, they were standardbreds.
That's right, yeah.
Yep. And
You had no interest in doing that or
well, I did, but I was away with the horses when I came home in 1962.
yeah.
I came home with a filly that was going to race in London. We had 3 yearling fillies here,
Yeah.
and Mr. Rowe wanted me to bring them in before I went to London so the boys could start to break them in. He wanted them in the front barn.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring them through here. He said, oh no, they're nice and quiet, take them that way, because I'd worked on them in the spring.
Yeah.
And an old fella, Edgar Matchett, was unloading lumber for the white fence out there. He saw 2 go by, and he didn't know that I was leading the last one. And Mr. Rowe handed me a long line out. So I gathered it up. And I just got to the shed door, and Edgar threw a 2x4, or 2x6 off the load on top of another one in the driving shed. Just went off like a gun right behind her. Last thing I remember, I was looking at the eave trough out there in the garage, and I come down face first in the stone, and she dragged me way up the road there, and they followed us up with the truck trying to get ahead of her. And then she got down in the ditch, and she dragged me down the ditch and through the fence on the road, and they took me to the other fence, and she pulled till she broke the halter. I was on the other side. I was knocked colder than a light.
Oh.
They figured I was dead.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you couldn't let go of the rope?
No, she knocked me out.
And so it was wrapped around your hand or?
Yeah, because it was a long line,
Yeah.
and it was scaring her, dragging it, so I just gathered it up in my hand. And I brought my hand back to let go of it, and the last loop, she was going the other way, the last loop, and the last loop didn't come off. It just tightened up on my hand. And when she kicked me in the head. And
How old were you?
17.
17.
Yeah. Well, then my back still bothered. I got a fracture between my shoulders that never got over.
And that's why you never
No.
rode.
And I stayed home then and looked after the farm and the brood mares and broke colts. I broke a lot of colts in this shed.
Huh?
Yeah, when I'd be working on the mares and the colts would be alongside of them, and you'd handle them and pet them, rub them down, and you'd do that all the way up till they was yearlings. Then they got the feeling that you weren't scared of you. And then as time went on, you'd get a brush, and after you weaned them off, you'd get a brush, you'd start brushing them down, and eventually you'd get a belly girth and put it on just around their stomachs so that they can get used to it. When you let them go first with that thing on there, they would kick and run like the devil because it scared them, but they got used to it. And then you get the crooper and work it up under their tail, and that's the way it was.